welcome to God's Little Acres Chicken Processing Day. We are going to take you through every phase of the chicken processing from feather to freezer. There are 5 different phases and we're going to take you right now to Kansas with phase 1, and I hope that you enjoy this video and find it educational, informational, and inspiring. So let's go see Kansas. Hey Kansas, do you want to tell everybody how this process works?
Well, basically they kind of go to sleep. The whole blood rushes to their head, you know, if you're hanging upside down. So they go in the cone and their head just comes down, and then you just make 2 quick cuts kind of on the jawline, and rather than kind of baby around with it, we just really make sure to go in so you cut everything necessary, because if the head is still on, then essentially it helps to pump the blood out of the body, but we don't overly worry about it because if the head's off, it still pumps a lot of most of the blood out, I'd say, and you know, then you don't have to worry about just nicking them or something like that. You want to make sure that you just get in there and make it as quick and
swift as possible.
Yeah, painless as possible, and obviously pray for the Lord to do that, to, you know, make it painless. You just hold the feet because they can grab you with these little
talons.
Feet. Yeah, talons or whatever they are. Even if they're essentially just dead, they, you know, have these natural neurological things that happen in the body still. So, you know, feet will move or wings will flap a little bit. The cone, it keeps everything contained.
And how long does this process usually take before they kind of stop moving?
It can vary, but not that long. A minute or 2. But I mean, they're just gone immediately.
All right.
And obviously today we have more of an issue, but there's just a couple little yellow jackets that are swarming around. Now and then, so I just make sure to clean everything off, remove the head before they start landing.
Speaking of removing the head,
it's overcast and you don't have to worry about the bugs as much.
Speaking of removing the head, we take the head off before scalding. And why do we do that?
Well, it just kind of gets them cleaned up in more to the presentable fashion that you'd buy one at the store. So the head comes off, you cut the legs off, so then when they go into the feet or whatever, the yellow part comes off. So when they go in the plucker, then their legs don't get caught up in the chicken plucker, and they're more just kind of a round football or a basketball that's just kind of spinning around in there.
And who gets the bucket of heads?
That's for the pigs.
All right, thanks Kansas. Let's go to phase 2. All right, Leah, so here we are in phase 2, and what are we doing?
Trying to make the chicken dance.
So what temperature is our water?
It's about 145, 150. It depends. It could have changed in the last 2 seconds. So we're going to dunk our chicken into the water, hold it down there. If you have it higher, you want to hold it for less. But if you move it around a little bit, you're going to get better scald.
All right, then what are we looking for?
We're looking for this, and here we have feathers coming right out. So maybe just one more dunk on these for these tail feathers. So you want to get the feathers to come out pretty easily, fairly easily, especially your wings feathers. Yep, I think we're good. So you want to follow me?
Yep.
Okay, to our chicken roller coaster. Phase 3.
Right, here, let me.
I have these nice little kitchen shears. If you look here at this joint, this is where you want to make a cut. You can use a knife, I like my shears. I take our feet off for the chicken plucker because they get stuck in the chicken plucker. So here's our feet.
This is a homemade chicken plucker, Kansas made.
So
you can buy these fingers online.
This is a soaker hose, so water comes out of here. You can buy the chicken fingers, and then we have our little plug here. It just spins, just the bottom spins. Kind of drop them in there. And I just kind of wait until I see some skin. Now, with our plucker, not exactly like the whiz bang perfect one.
Or the Featherman.
We don't get a perfect pluck, but if I leave it in there any longer, then the skin will rip. But this is actually pretty good for us because the rest of these feathers for me just come right off. So if you want to come over to our next stage,
We'll do phase 4.
this phase 4.
All right, Leah.
All right, so we're finishing up a few fine-tuned pluckings here. You're always going to have a few of those. But I want to get to the meat of it. Haha. Show you how to eviscerate. That's what the technical term is for gutting a chicken. All right, so your first step is to come here to this beautiful long neck. And you're going to look for the windpipe and the esophagus here. And so you're just going to make a nice cut like that. You're going to give yourself some room here, and you're going to locate these 2 tubes. Okay, and they're just here by fascia. Here, they're just here by some little bits of here, holding them in. You're going to pull one out like that. You're going to pull the other one out. There's 2 of them, and they're just connected here by some tissue. They're not really connected. And then we're going to look for this. There's a crop in here. And that's where the chickens hold their food overnight, and they digest it slowly. But ours isn't. We don't have any food in our crop right now because we have starved our poor chickens. So we have to look for this bubble-like thing here, and we're going to pull it apart. It's just a lot of just pulling apart, because what you're going to do is you're going to pull it through the end. So you want to get it all disconnected. All right.
So show us our 2 tubes.
So here we have 2 tubes. Tubey tubes and a crop. Okay. Like I said, you can work on the little feathers as you want to. All right. So we've got a rear end here. All right. We want to cut it around it so that when we pull our stuff through.
Now it looks like you went right into it, but you didn't. You went right over top of it.
Right over top of it. And I'm going to cut around in a circle. All right. That's what I'm going to do. And if you happen to bust it open, you just get your, a little bit right there, just get your hose out, clean it out. No big deal, guys. I'm going to rinse off my knife here because I did get a little bit. So then our next cut, just a little bit of 1 inch right here below the breastbone. You can do that however you feel like doing it. Okay? And then what you're going to do is get your fingers in there. And you're just, oh, looks like I need to get in there just a little bit more past the, there we go. And then you're just going to open it up. You can't hurt anything. You're not going to hurt anything. Open it up. Then these are all our guts. Take your hand. You don't have to wear gloves. We don't always. You're going to kind of go around all these guts. Okay? And you're going to pull them out. Oh, jeez. You're going to pull them out the best that you can. It's not always perfect. And the rear end.
Now keep pulling so you can get that crop
There we
through.
go. See that? We got this.
The crop is somehow still in there.
Crop's in there. We want to pull that crop right through. We're going to pull that crop right through. Take 3. Take 2. Here we go. It's coming. It's coming. And here we go. Most of it. Most of it. Doesn't always happen.
Ideally it would stay with all of the guts, but it doesn't always happen that way.
All right. So what do we have here? We have a gizzard. We have some livers. If you want to keep your livers, keep your livers.
But
if you want to keep your gizzards,
there's
keep
a butt
your gizzards.
on the liver.
You don't want this little guy right here.
What's that called?
Bile duct.
The bile duct.
If you open that little green thing, everything gets stained, and it's not awesome. You can keep the hearts, keep the livers, You can keep the gizzards if you want. We don't because they're kind of mess to clean up and we have pigs to feed. So, into your bucket it goes.
Hose.
Hose, we're gonna rinse it off. Rinsing off the bird here. Hoping that we don't drop it. We only dropped one in all the years we've done this and we just did it. So get all that icky out there.
Table. Go ahead and get the table while you're at it.
Rinse the table.
We keep the table rinsed throughout this whole process. There we go.
Alright, so we're rinsing. Now, Michelle, if you can get a good shot in there of the lungs. They're the hot pink things in there.
I don't know. Let's face the sun. You're gonna have to just pull them out and show them.
Okay, inside of there, I have a good angle from here, but you have to go behind me.
Well, it's just a little bit dark.
Okay. Well, inside of here, you have the two lungs, and you gotta pull them out. You gotta get under there.
Right in the back rib.
So there's two, one on each side.
And they're poisonous. You can't feed those to your animals. Even though Leah just put it in the animal bucket.
Oops, we have a lung bucket over here.
Here's our lung bucket. You're welcome.
Alright, so I'm going to rinse that out in a second. Now, what you want to do with the neck is up to you. But I highly suggest, oh look, one of my hoses didn't come out. The hose didn't come out. Pull it out the other way. Thank you. Lovely assistant from the behind the scenes. Kathy's here. You want to take that neck off? Wherever you find a joint, take your knife, take your scissors, cut it off. We go ahead and put our necks inside of our chickens. And you can fold this skin up. You can put it in there. You want to keep your skin, keep your skin. Michelle doesn't like to keep the skin. I know. So it's not wasted. We have other animals. So there we go. Last thing. This right here. It's called a scent sac, right?
Oil gland.
Oil gland. Scent sac. Dogs.
You pets it.
Oil gland. Oil gland. All right. So you want to take that off. Let me get it at my angles this way. Scent sac. Oil gland.
Now show them the yellow part so that they'll know.
If it
Is
still
there any
has
yellow?
if you still have some dark
Well-
yellow, you haven't gotten it all.
Wait a minute. There it is.
All right, so you can take this bird. We're gonna put it in a boil bag. You're gonna show them that.
We're going to show them that. That's going to be the next phase.
Awesome. Well, have a good time. Happy butchering, and you can do it.
Hey guys, here we are with our last and final 5th phase of the chicken processing system. In the years past, we've used a vacuum sealer. I find that kind of difficult, even though we've done it for 4 years running, where it vacuums the air out, but some water comes with it. So this year we decided to opt for BPA-free dip bags so that they shrink wrap when you put them in hot water. I love these bags. So this bag is a little bit bigger than what I would prefer for these birds. Now, yesterday we did all of our male birds, so these are smaller. So since they're smaller birds, what I'm doing is I'm turning them sideways. With the male birds, I had been putting them in like this, and then squeezing them and processing them. Now, you want it to take up as much space in the bag as possible. So that's why I'm turning these females that are smaller sideways, okay? So, you want to get it down, get as much air out as you can. Now, I bought a little kit, which I was really happy with, online. And it came with zip ties and tags. So, I'm going to turn my scale on, and the first thing I'm going to do before I put on the scale, this is really important, I'm going to cut a slit vertically in this bag. This is going to allow the air to come out when we put it in our boiling hot water. So then I take my weight. We've got 4 pounds, 6 ounces. I write that on the tag, 4 pounds, 6 ounces, today's date, and get that all ready to go. And now we're going to dip this in the water at 180 degrees for roughly 3 seconds. It depends on your temperature, and all the air comes out that hole. Then you pull it out. You can see how it's shrunk. You want to bring it back over to your towel, dry it off, and then you're going to find your hole. You see that hole right there? Then you're going to take your tag, and this is literally the point here. This is how they would come at the store. Slap it on there, cut off your extra. Bada bing, bada boom, you have a home-raised, pastured chicken from feather to freezer. And we're gonna take you guys down in a second and show you our freezer full of chicken. All right, guys, so technically there's 6 phases, and that is getting to put this beautiful bird in the freezer. I want you guys to see what we have here. These are actually from last year, so to compare the vacuum sealed bags, which I definitely prefer these this year to the vacuum sealed bags. So I'm quite pleased, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video and that you feel inspired to go out and raise some meat birds for yourself. I don't know if we told you in the beginning, we use Freedom Rangers instead of Cornish crosses so that they get to move around and forage a lot more than the birds that just sit around and sit by the feeder. So they take a lot longer. These were 11.5-week birds. So we're finished. We have done 51 birds. Thank you guys for joining us here at God's Little Acre for our chicken processing day. God bless.